Hello, guys. How are you doing today? I know you guys are fine, you guys are good, and you guys are great. That's beautiful. You see, today I want to help you guys build and develop your vocabulary. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want to help you build and develop your vocabulary. You see, it's really important that you build and develop your vocabulary. Well, before I begin to explain why you need to develop your vocabulary, let me quickly remind you what we mean by vocabulary. Of course, when we talk about vocabulary, we are simply talking about the totality of the words that a person knows and uses. You see, when we talk about all the words a person knows and uses, we are talking about the person's vocabulary. Now, watch this. Everybody has vocabulary. Okay? You guys listening to me now, there are words you know and you use. There are also words I know and I use. Are we together? Now, watch this. When a person knows so many words and, of course, uses those words, we can say that such a person has a rich or what we call a strong vocabulary. When a person knows so many words and can use most of those words, we say that such a person has what? A rich or a strong vocabulary. Are we together? On the other hand, when a person knows just a few words, of course, when a person does not know so many words, then we say that the person has what we call a weak or poor vocabulary. Are we together? The person has what? A weak or poor vocabulary. Now, I want you to follow this. When you have a poor vocabulary, when you don't have a rich vocabulary, one of the challenges you face is this. When someone speaks with you and uses a word you do not know its meaning, you will find it difficult to really understand what the person talks about. Are we together? If someone speaks with you and uses a word you do not know its meaning, you will find it difficult to really understand what the person talks about. Are we together? Take, for instance, if I should tell you that Daniel is very recalcitrant. See what I mean? Daniel is very what? Recalcitrant. Just look at the word. I said Daniel is very recalcitrant. Now look at that word here. Daniel is very recalcitrant. That's the word, recalcitrant. Now guess what here? Of course, you know I am talking about Daniel. But the truth is this. If you do not know what the word recalcitrant means, definitely you did not understand what I told you about Daniel. Don't forget I said Daniel is very recalcitrant. Now, if you don't understand recalcitrant, if recalcitrant is not part of your vocabulary, definitely you did not understand what I told you about Daniel. Come on, are we together? Now, come to think of it. The word recalcitrant is another word for a word you already know its meaning. The word recalcitrant, if I tell you the meaning of the word recalcitrant, you will discover that it is a word you already know its meaning. But your problem is that you have refused to build on your vocabulary. You have refused to learn and master new words. So when you don't build your vocabulary, that's one of the things you suffer. Are we together? Someone will speak with you, use a word you do not know its meaning, then you get lost completely. So I want you guys to pay close attention to my teachings because my intention is to help you build and develop your vocabulary. Come on, are we together? Now, can I tell you this? You see, the word recalcitrant is the same word for stubborn. Of course, you know, when a person is, now I can clean here. That's good. So watch this. So I said the word recalcitrant is another word for stubborn. Okay? You know, when someone is stubborn, it means that the person is disobedient, the person is strong-willed, the person always insists on having his own way. He doesn't want to listen to people's opinion, idea, or even advice. Are we together? That's a stubborn person. Now, of course, you have been using the word stubborn on so many occasions. You know what stubborn is. But the point I am making is this: it is not enough for you to know what stubborn means. Are you there? You need to beef up your knowledge. You need to know so many other words that mean the same as what as stubborn. So that when someone speaks with you and chooses to use another word that means stubborn, you wouldn't get confused. Come on, are we together? So it's important you build up your vocabulary. So the word recalcitrant means the same as what as stubborn. So when I said that Daniel is very recalcitrant, I was saying that Daniel is very stubborn. Are we together? Daniel is very stubborn. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So if you don't know, or rather, if you have a weak vocabulary, if you don't build up your vocabulary, when someone speaks with you and uses words you do not know their meanings, you will find it difficult to actually understand what those guys talk about. Okay, so that's why you need to beef up your vocabulary. Now, apart from that, watch this. If you are still a student or you have reason maybe to sit for any examination, it could be the TOEFL exam, it could be the IELTS, it could be JAMB exam, it could be WAEC, it could be NECO, it could be any kind of examination. Watch this. If your vocabulary is very poor or very weak, you will find it difficult to deal with questions such as what I have on the board now. So let's look at what I have on the board. Now, the statement says Daniel is quite meticulous. Look at the statement. Daniel is quite meticulous. Now, the word meticulous is underlined in that exam. And three options are given. Look at the options A, B, and C. And the instruction says from the words A, B, C, choose a word that is nearest in meaning to the word meticulous. In other words, choose a word out of A, B, C. Choose a word that means nearly the same as what as meticulous. Come on, are we together? Now watch this. If you don't know the meaning of the word meticulous, definitely it's going to be difficult for you to really know what the answer should be. So this is another good reason you need to develop your vocabulary so that if you have need to sit for any examination, it wouldn't be difficult for you to really deal with questions such as this. Come on, are we together? Well, I need to let you know that the word meticulous means the same as what careful. The word meticulous means the same as what as careful. So if someone is careful, we can say that the person is what is meticulous. Come on, are we together? Do you know something, sir? You see, now you've already known what careful means. The ideal thing is for you to be using careful, less, and then begin to use new words that mean the same as what? As careful. That's the way you build up your vocabulary. So if you have cause to say that someone should be careful, someone is careful, you need to be careful, don't use careful now. Begin to use meticulous. Begin to use other words that mean the same as what? As careful. That way, when you speak with people, your grammar will be quite polished and weighty. Okay, so that it's always good when you talk with people. There should be one or two words that they need to crack their brain in order to really understand what you talk about. Then, secondly, when someone speaks with you and uses big words, it will be easier for you to really understand what the person talks about. Come on, are we together? So Daniel is quite meticulous. So you can see that our answer is what is C. Daniel is careful. Are we together? I know some of you out there might not even know the meaning of the word loquacious. You see, the word loquacious and the word garrulous, they mean exactly the same thing. If a person is loquacious, then it means that the person is a talkative person. Are you there? If someone is loquacious, it means that the person is talkative. So, which means the word loquacious means talkative. So, when you want to say that John is talkative, you can simply say John is loquacious. Are you there? Yeah, and if you don't want to use the word loquacious, you can as well use the word garrulous. So, from today, you can suspend using the word talkative. Okay? So, when you have cause to say that someone is talkative, I suggest you suspend using talkative and then begin to use this new word. Are you there? So that when you talk with people, at least you give an assignment. At least they need to think deeper for them to really understand what you talk about. Come on, are we together? Wow. Let me round off this brief class by looking at the word recalcitrant again. Remember, I said the word recalcitrant means stubborn. Are we together? If a person is stubborn, it means that the person is recalcitrant. Well, friends, all these words I have here, they are words that you can use in place of stubborn. When you don't want to say that someone is stubborn, you can say that the person is recalcitrant. If you don't want to say that the person is recalcitrant, you can say that the person is obstinate. Obstinate. Obstinate is another word for stubborn. If you don't want to say that someone is obstinate, you can say that the person is resolute. Resolute. That's another word. If you don't want to say that someone is resolute, you can say that the guy is mullish. So mullish is another word for stubborn. Your brother is quite mullish, quite stubborn. Then if you don't want to use the word mullish, you can say the person is what? Refractory. The person is what? Refractory. The person is ungovernable, ungovernable, ungovernable. That's another word for stubborn. If you don't want to say ungovernable, you can say that the person is what? Big-headed. Big-headed. You can say that the person is adamant. Come on, say adamant. Now, if a person is adamant, it means that the person is stubborn. Then, if you don't want to say adamant, you can say that the person is what? Intransigent. 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 If someone is intransigent, it means that the person is stubborn. If you don't want to use intransigent, you can use bull-headed. Bull-headed. You can use dogged. That guy is very dogged, meaning that guy is very stubborn. Then, if you don't want to say dogged, you can as well say intractable. If a person is intractable, it means that the person is stubborn. Are we together? Well, friends, this is where I'm going to stop my class for today. Don't forget, Dr. Charles is my name, okay? I am your English coach and instructor. My duty is to help you develop proficiency in the use of English, okay? If you would like to get my complete, course on this subject, vocabulary development, wow, just send me a text to my WhatsApp. Then, of course, we talk from there. Is that okay? My number, of course, is 08022061956. So we talk from there. If you need my complete course, my complete teaching on vocabulary development, which I believe you really need to have it. So just send me, SMS, then we take it up from there. Okay. So let me see you in my next class. Wow.